Hi everyone and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Richards and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in southern Tasmania. Welcome along if this is your first time watching me. Today I'm going to be featuring this card here, which is looks quite normal and quite ordinary when you see it sitting on the table like this. It actually features the Nothing's Better Than stamp set and dies which come together in a bundle. But it is actually it's a fun fold card in the fact that this little window here flicks open at an angle. So when you actually see it like this, it's quite effective sitting up on the table with that sort of angular sort of look here. It's called a flip window card if you want to Google them or Pinterest them and to get more ideas. But basically this window flips, which is where it gets its name. So I've done a few of these lately. I'm actually featuring them in my, couple of them, not in this stamp set, but this fold in my next classes by mail. So if you pop along to my Facebook page, you'll be able to see a few more examples. Anyway, so I'm going to do this one with the Nothing's Better Than suite. I absolutely love these little cocktail glasses. I'm going to actually change this one around a bit. This was my prototype, so to speak, and I thought I could improve it a little bit for the video, so we'll make it slightly different. So just bear with me. I've got most of it cut, but there are a few things I wanted to show you with my die cutting machine, so there's a little bit of that involved in this video. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to make sure that my sound is behaving itself. If I can, bear with me. Oh, not too far. No, goodness me. I just have to assume that it is. It's not behaving itself here. I usually sort of have my iPad there, but it's not. There we go. It's this one. There we go. Let's have a look. Okay, alright, so that looks fine there. We'll just assume that that's all working and plough on. Anyway, okay, so as I say, for this card class, we're doing this flip window card. And I have most of it cut, so we'll just pop everything aside and I'll bring in and show you what you need. Okay, so we have a card base, and this glorious pink is the Magenta Madness ink, which is just so bright. Magenta Madness, it's so bright. You can see it from outer space just about, but I'll just sit down if you excuse me. So this is my standard size card base. It's 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4, and it's scored in the middle to form a normal 4 1/8 by 5 3/4 card base. Then I have 2 panels of Mango Melody, which I think goes, it's such a contrasting colour with the pink, but I think it just lends itself to the tequila sunrise sort of look I'm going for with this card. And it's cut 1/8 inch smaller, so they're both cut 1/8 inch smaller. So one for the front and one for inside. You'll notice a difference straight away with my original card. I didn't have the layer of Mango Melody on the front, but I think with cutting the hole in the front it makes it a little bit flimsy, so I think it needs that extra layer. So hopefully when we put that extra layer in, it'll make it a bit structurally more sound. I've also got a piece of the Designer Series paper. This is the Artistry Blooms Designer Series paper, and it has these wonderful colours. So this is where I bring out my Magenta Madness and my Mango Melody are going to be sort of brought out of that page, out of that cut paper. I then have, and this is probably the star of the show, this one, is a piece of 5 1/2 by 6 inch cardstock. Now this is thick cardstock because it's also a structural element to our card, so it's a thick cardstock, not just normal thin cardstock. And I have scored it at 2 and 4, so it's basically 6 inches long, scored at 2 and 4, and it forms that sort of Z for the inside. And I have a couple other bits and bobs, but we'll bring those in a moment. Okay, so I'm taking our card base and our first layer and our Designer Series paper. And I'm actually going to glue the Designer Series paper onto the Mango Melody. And I'm going to put glue. Usually I just stick to glue around the edges, but I'm going to put glue all around it, all inside, just so it sticks around that window that we're eventually going to cut. Okay, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine, and I'm going to use the layered squares framelets to cut out our little window. I'm going to use the largest plain square, which is this one here, I think. No, that's the second largest. This is the largest here. Oh, everything's gone everywhere. Pop that to the side. This is the largest square, and I'm actually going to die cut it through all 3 layers that you have here in front of us. So if I bring the machine in, the die cutting machine, and hopefully can do it without wobbling everything too much. Apologies if I do. Anyone who watches my videos realises that my house wobbles like a trampoline when I try to die cut. So if you suffer from seasickness, turn away now. So I'm going to pop that there. Now you have to be very careful because we haven't glued that down yet, so position it where you think you're going to like it so that it's even all the way around. Pop on your die here. Hopefully you can see that if I'm at the right end with my camera. Yes, I think I am. Pop it in with your die, put it roughly where you want it, even top and sides, and then pop it through. So we're going through 2 layers of cardstock plus designer series paper, so I'm going to have to pop it through a couple of times. Forgive the wobble. Oh, it's a little bit tough, but this helps us line up our window so that we that they match completely. Hopefully if I've done it all the way through, that will come out. No, it's not there on that one. So I've got this window has come out nicely there. So we've got our little window there, as you can see, but this hasn't, which I've now dropped on the floor. It'll be easy enough just to cut that through by itself, because if I can feel the edges of the square. So I'm just going to pop that through again, just in the same position. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Okay, so there we go. So we've got a little window in there. I'm going to keep this particular piece, but the designer series paper and the mango melody you're not going to need. So there we are. I'll just get rid of my die cutting machine. Thanks for bearing with me with that. I'm just picking up the piece that I've got on the floor. Okay, so now we have a window that lines up nicely between the designer series paper, the mango melody and the card base, just like that. Okay, and we have this piece that's been cut out. So as I say, we're going to need that. Okay, so now what we can do is actually add this to our card base. So lining up the edges of your little window with your card stock and your card base, just like that. Okay, so that has given it a little bit more structure than the original one, especially once the glue dries. That'll be fine. Awesome. Okay, right, now what's next? Okay, so what we can do now is bring in, I have here, so this cutout piece that we have in our Magenta Madness, and I'll measure it for you because I can't remember from memory, is 2 3/4 square, so 2 3/4 inches square. So what I have is a piece of Whisper White cardstock, which has been cut slightly smaller than that, so that would be 2 5/8 square. So you can see you just get a tiny little border of the magenta out the back of it, around the sides of it. So I'm just going to attach that to there, and this is going to form our little flipping window. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in the stamp set with our really cute little cocktail glass You could do this with any of the stamps in the set. If you're not a cocktail, or the person you're giving it to is not a cocktail drinker, you can go the coffee or the chocolate or the cookies, whatever their poison happens to be. You've got a choice. I'm going with cocktails. I'll grab myself a block and some black ink. I'm going to stamp 2 cocktail glasses directly on our little flipping window, our window. So one to the left, make sure I'm in camera there. One to the left and one to the right. Ooh. There we are. I'm going to colour those with the same inks that we've used in our card base, with the Magenta Madness and the Mango Melody. Grab the little, they've got a little insert here, which is good. You don't have to colour it in by hand, and it's got 2 little glasses suspended, 2 little ice blocks suspended in the water there, in the cocktail there, so it makes it look really cute. Okay, so I'm going to do the one on the left in Magenta Madness. I don't know what sort of cocktail that would be. Somebody will probably go on and say there's no cocktail is that colour. But hey, it's cute, it's a nice colour. And the other one I'm going to do in the Mango Melody. Just like that. That's definitely some sort of orange cocktail, that one, isn't it? Okay, so I'll pop those. And so what I'm going to do is they've got their little lime segment or citrus segment and a little umbrella there. So I'm going to colour those just by hand with some blends. I'm going to do them, the colours I'm using are dark granny apple green for the rind of our lime segment, and light granny apple green for the centre, for the actual flesh. And then I'm going to give them bright, sunny Daffodil Delight umbrellas. Actually, I might give one a yellow umbrella, and I might give one, there's some red in that paper. I'm going to give the other one a red umbrella just to bring that red through. Here we are. Okay, so I've also got a cocktail glass that I have stamped and die cut with the dies that go with the bundle. So this one I'm going to do slightly different. This is a little bit more extravagant, a little bit more fancy, this drink. It's going to be like half and half. So I'll get both my inks open. So I've still got my Magenta Madness and my Mango Melody. I'm going to pop half the block, half the stamp, the top half of it on the edge of the Mango Melody. And I don't remember if I remember cleaning that. I'll clean it from before. I didn't want anything left over. So top half in the Mango Melody, give it a flip, and the bottom half in the Magenta Madness. And I'll stamp this little one, and we'll get a lovely two-toned effect there. So it's one of those lovely sort of two-toned cocktails. Okay, so this one I'm going to also bring in my blends and colour the little umbrella and lemon wedge. That's my light granny apple green, so that's in there. That's my dark. So you could use whatever colouring in things you use at home, whatever's your favourite marker, but I can suggest the blends from Stampin' Up. The blends are of excellent quality, and just go and go and go and go. Okay, so this little cocktail I'm going to pop on dimensionals or foam squares at the in the middle of our little card there, a little window. So I'm just going to pop a couple, and then the edge. I've got a couple of edge ones here, little smaller ones. Pop one of those up here. tiny piece for that. I might just cut one in half. And pop that at the little base down here. There we are. So we'll just pop him on our little window. Oh, come on. There we are. So we've got some lovely tropical looking cocktails there. Okay, so we'll bring in our sentiment now, or at least one of them. I'm going to use the same sentiment as I did on the original card, which is today, no, what did I say? I can't remember now. Which one was it? A day without. Yeah, so a day without cocktails is the outside, and then the inside is pretty funny. So I'll leave that to your imagination until we get there. Bear with me. So a day without, make sure that's on my block straight. There we are. So I'm going to pop the first half of the sentiment up here in the top left hand corner. So this particular part of the card, you could decorate it whichever way you want. You only can, when you do decorate it, you have to keep within the bounds of your little square there. Your window can't be bigger than this. The decorations can't sort of overlap at all. They have to stay within it just so it goes easily through your little window there. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're doing yours at home. Okay, so that is, then I'm going to do it's got a really nice cocktails stamp here in a nice sort of fancy script. Let's get a smaller stamp. Here we go, smaller block. Okay, so I've got cocktails there. So the saying is a day without cocktails. I'm going to put this is slightly different to my original card. As I say, I've sort of varied this one as I go to improve it a little bit. So we've got a day without cocktails. So this little sentiment box, I've just cut it to fit the cocktails sign. Yep. So I think it's, I'll check that for you. It's 3/4 of an inch by 2 inches, and then I've got a little box just to back it, and that's 1/8 of an inch larger. Pop that on there. And that's going to go, when it dries a little bit, that's going to go here on the outside there. I'm going to put that on dimensionals as well, so we'll leave that for a moment just to dry. So now we bring in what we call the star of the show, our Z fold inner. So it's actually, oh, hang on, one more thing to do. I've got that second layer of mango melody, so I'll put that in first before I get carried away. That's for the inside back. Just like that, just like you would a normal card. And then we can see that our Z, if I can get the orientation right, our Z is going to sit there, and then it forms the sort of spring for our window there. So we can stamp some, like I have with the original card, we can stamp some cocktails and things on there just to give it a bit of decoration. Oh, bash. So we've got to bring back our little cocktail glass. Just sort of randomly, sort of all around the place, just to give a bit of a sort of a cocktail feel. Just one down the bottom here. Now I'm going to bring in that little colour thing again and colour them off with the same colours that I used before. So Mango Melody, I'll do a couple in that. No, sorry, Magenta Madness. And Mango Melody. And another one, half and half. So this time I'll do top half in, I've got some ink on my finger there. This time I'll do top half in Mango Melody and flip it round and do bottom half Magenta Madness. There we go. That's pretty good. I'm going to put the rest of our sentiment down here in this bottom right hand corner here. So the rest of the sentiment actually says, is like, just kidding, I have no idea. There we go. Not that I'm suggesting we drink cocktails every day. That would probably be quite unhealthy, but it's quite fun. So a day without cocktails is like, just kidding, I have no idea. There we go. But you could pop a happy birthday or whatever, you know, your favourite sentiment, something that fits the person that you're giving this card to. There we go. Right, so I can pop this all together now. Get all our bits and bobs in. Okay, so I'm going to attach our little Z to there. So with the back, sort of same distance top and bottom, like that. So that's just the third, the end third that is attached to the back of our card base. We flip that closed and then close our card. You can see here, this section here is where our card is going to, our window is going to sit, our flip window. Before we do that, you do actually have to have a little tab that sits on the outside so that the whole thing doesn't collapse into itself. I've got a 3/4 inch piece of Mango Melody here, and our picker punch here, which is a wonderful punch. You get the choice, you can make sort of 6 punches basically just to give it a decorative end. So I'm going to fit that into this end, flip it over so I know I'm even, and give that just a bit of a decorative punch. So you can see there it's just got a little curl on it. I'm going to get my, I might actually use, I don't know, I think it ran out. I might just trim that down a little bit, it's a bit long. Get some glue. There we are. Get a little window here. It's easier to pop this on before you've got it all sort of set away. So even sort of nice and central on your card, nice and straight, and just pop that behind with some glue. There you are. So it sits out slightly on the edge there. There we are. Okay, so now you can pop that. We can pop that. So what we're looking to is just gluing it here on this little part here. I'm going to use, I can find it, I'm going to use, excuse me, I'm going to use snail adhesive for that because I want it to stick straight away. I can find my snail adhesive. Could use double-sided tape, something like that. But I'll use good old snail. You just pop your snail in that gap if it's working, and it hasn't run out, but it's run out. Okay, good plan. No, they've both run out. Isn't that terrible? Goodness me. Okay, plan B is double-sided tape or tearing tape, whatever your poison. Okay, so I'm going to put some double-sided tape. There you go, the joys of live crafting. Double-sided tape just on there. I think 2 will probably be enough. It's not going anywhere in a hurry. Just bring those off. It's a reminder to myself I need new snail adhesive. I have to remember that my next order. Okay, so we position our little window back in place there with our tab on the outside and just firm it down on the double-sided tape. Here we are. And so that gives us our little flip, our little window flip there. Okay, that's really cool. Okay, so we're going to attach our cocktails there so the whole sentiment is in place. I'm going to use dimensionals for that as well. Just using my end bits. Never waste your end bits. You can always use them. Use every bit up. Life's too expensive to waste. Perfectly good dimensionals. Okay, so there we are. Oh, up the right way would be good, Miss Jane. I'm going to pop that one just there. And you know what I've forgotten? I've forgotten the frame. And you can see in the original card I had a frame that I'd cut around. So I might add that because I think it finishes it off quite nicely. So bear with me, I'll work out what I was going to do with that. Okay, I have a square cut. No. So this little piece here is the same size as our window that we cut out. So I know, what did I say it was? 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 is our little window that we've cut out. So basically what we want for our frame is something that is larger than that by the width of our frame. So 2 3/4, I might make it a slightly larger frame and cut a piece. I'm going to bring my cutter in, my trimmer, wherever it's hiding, over here. Oh, everything doesn't crash and bash. So 2 3/4 inches. I'm going to make it a 1/4 inch frame. So I'm going to have to go 3 1/4 square. Just make sure that that's not too big. Where's our card here? Yep, that's good. And then I'm going to get the same square that I actually used to cut out our original window, and I'm going to cut out an amount. I cut out a window in this one, and this time I'm using the outside rather than the inside. And I've put my cutting plate down somewhere. Oh gosh, oh here it is. Okay, so I won't bring the die cutter in, it just wobbles too much. I'm just cutting that square out of the centre of that little frame. Okay, so there it is. So we know that that centre there, because I've used the same square die that I used to cut out our window, we know that it's going to fit perfectly around there and not stop it from coming out. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue, just a touch, not too much. You don't want it going everywhere if you can avoid it, around the edge of that. And pop that, bring that out there so it doesn't get stuck, and pop that onto our window. So line it up with the edges. As I say, you don't want it to impede or sort of stop the motion of your little flip window. So just line it up with the edges of your little cutting. A little bit too much glue there in spots. That's all right. Okay, so there we are. So that, I think that finishes it off quite nicely. It's not as raw as the edges of the original design, and it fits there through like that. So there we are. So I hope you like that one. That's a flip window card featuring the Nothing's Better Than bundle. the saying being a day without cocktails is like, just kidding, I have no idea. But as I say, you could use any of the stamps in the set. They would all be just as cute, depending on who you're giving it to. You could use some of the sentiments as well. You're just like chocolate. You make everything better. Anything like that. This is a really cute sort of all-purpose stamp set. Probably for a younger audience. It's really good. No flowers to be seen. Anyway, so there is my flip window card with the Nothing's Better Than bundle. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I'd love to see your creations if you decide to give that a go. Pop over to my Facebook page and share a photo. I'd love to see them. But anyway, I really like that one, and I am getting a lot of use out of that set. So it's bright, it's cheery, and it's it's really fun. Anyway, if you are a resident of Australia and you don't have an active demonstrator, I'd love to help you with your Stampin' Up requirements or card making questions. As I said, just pop over to my Facebook page. The link will be in the description of this video, and I'm happy to help you with anything you need, including orders and card making tips. But anyway, it's great to see you all, and hopefully I will catch you all again soon.